Assalamualaikum everyone. I'm very, very happy to be here today. Um, as the host said, I'm a very proud alumni of Dow Medical College from 2010. And the last time I was in OCHA was as a student giving my fourth year and final year exams. So it is so nice to be back here and amongst all of you. Um, I'll talk a little bit about what I've done since I passed out from medical college. Um, but I think I want to share a story, and I see a lot of women here in the room, so I'm sure okay, a lot of female students relate to my story and whatever happened in my life that led to the creation of Sehat Kahani and Qdoba, which is the Dubai version of Sehat Kahani that was launched earlier this year. Can I move? So I come from a middle class family in Pakistan. My father was a police officer and my mother was a housewife. Um, when my parents got married, especially my father, when he got married, um, he had an epiphany. उनको एक epiphany हुई थी कि उनके तीन बच्चे होंगे. And he knew he would have two sons and one daughter. He also knew he would have two sons first and a daughter later. Don't ask me how he knew that, but he knew it. He also knew that my first brother will become an engineer, my second brother will become a banker, or he can go into the army. दोनों में से कोई एक प्रोफेशन उसके पास choice थी. And me, as the third one, was going to be a yes. So I belong to that class of society जहाँ पे जब when you have a girl child and you have money to save, normally parents want them to become doctor. And of course, this is because it raises your social status, it makes you very noble. This is one of the professions that when anyone goes into it, they do a lot for humanity around them. So after 14, 15 years of my life studying to get into the medical college, I finally got into Dow Medical in 2005. I also remember it was 1st December 2024 when I got my letter. And I landed into Dow Medical College, and I was in a huge auditorium in the Southern campus. And what I saw the first day when I went into Dow Medical College was that majority of my class, almost 90%, was also women. So somehow this dream of a female becoming a doctor is fed to a lot of women in the country by their parents. And slowly and gradually, I don't know if you have realized this yet or you will realize in life, there is another ambit to it, cultural ambit to it, जो कि parents शुरू में नहीं बताते. But reality of our society is that a lot of female doctors also get the best hand in marriage. So if you're a doctor, it also raises your CV from a marital angle. And I saw this because I had an arranged marriage. So whenever my mother used to get a call from anyone, they used to ask this: that is your daughter tall? Is she pretty? Is she fair? Is she a doctor? Those were the checklist or the criteria that people wanted us to meet. And as I was transitioning through medical college, what I saw in my time, and this is 13 years ago, so I don't know if this still exists, and you can let me know after this session if this is still a problem. But in my time, what I saw was as we passed through 5 years of medical college, a lot of my peers, my friends started getting married, having children. So जब मेरे फाइनल ईयर का एग्जाम हो रहा था यहीं औजा के अंदर, जो मेरी फाइनल ईयर की ऑस्की हो रही थी, उसके अंदर the girl जो मुझसे आगे थी, she was also expecting, जो girl मुझसे पीछे थी, she was also expecting. So that was the reality of the situation then. I never wanted to become a doctor, very honestly. I did it to please my parents till my final year of medical college. But as soon as I landed into my house job, and I did my first gynae house job, first gynae call. Any one of you who's done house job? I fell in love with the profession. Because once you treat a patient with your own bare hands, I think that's when you find the love for medicine inside you as a doctor. So in my final year, what I saw working in Civil Hospital Karachi, where I did my house job in the gynae in the medicine department, was that unfortunately there is a huge part of our country, and as you go into your medical professions after you pass out of the Dow Medical College, inshallah, you'll see that there is a huge, huge number of patients in our country that will never get to see you in their lifetime, that will never get to see a doctor in their lifetime. वो किसी नर्स को दिखाएंगे, किसी गाय को दिखाएंगे, किसी डिस्पेंसर को दिखाएंगे, किसी कंपाउंडर को दिखाएंगे, लेकिन वो आप तक नहीं पहुंच सकेंगे. और ये मैंने इन रियलिटी होते हुए देखा सिविल हॉस्पिटल में. When simple issues of diabetes, hypertension, simple knee pains got aggregated to a condition कि जब तक वो सिविल हॉस्पिटल पहुंचते थे वो ऐसी सिचुएशन में आते थे कि आप उनको मैनेज कर सकते थे, you couldn't cure them. So you can't cure heart failure, you can manage it. You can't cure end stage diabetes, you can manage it. You can't cure obstructed labor, you can just manage it further. So there I saw a very big gap. And I just want to take you to this problem, if we can. Okay, good. What does it show in numbers? The story that I told you. So Pakistan has around 245 registered doctors. This data is not new because we haven't found the actual number of doctors since a long time. 80% or more are women doctors, which is great. So a huge round of applause for all the women in the room today. But unfortunately, what the data also tells us, there are a huge number of women doctors. Again, this is an arbitrary number because there isn't an actual number that will tell you how many have dropped out. But what the different sources of articles and data tells you is that half of this number does not practice after graduation or does not practice for a long time after graduation. Unfortunately, as we all are sitting here today, Pakistan is also a country where a lot of people want to leave from. This has been going on for doctors since a long time. So data tells us that 15% of doctors actually leave the country for better work opportunities. So in actuality, Pakistan has around less than half a doctor for 1,000 patients. So when I say patients will never get to see you, that's also a reality that half of our population, which is 120 million people, it's more than populations of 5 to 6 countries together, will never get to see a doctor in their lifetime. And that's something that I saw in my reality. So going back to my story, as soon as I graduated from Dow Medical College, and I'm telling you the story because it's very connected to the company that I run today and what's doing today. Nothing changed in my life. I also got married right after my graduation. My parents found the perfect corporate, working, defense living, nice job person for me. And I got married. I ticked all the boxes, he ticked all the boxes, and we were married right after my graduation. I started my residency in radiology. I started my MCPS, but unfortunately, unfortunately, but incidentally, I got pregnant in my first year. It was a 2-year program, and I had to leave that residency. Sitting at home for 2 days in a new house with a new family, which was not mine at that time, I called up my friend and said, "Yeah, I need work somewhere. I need to feel as a doctor. I feel very useless." So she said, she was working in an NGO at that time. She said, "The only job I have for you is going to Sultanabad, which is a slum." किसी ने Sultanabad देखा है? किसी ने सुना उसके बारे में? It's a slum behind the US Embassy. Hijrat Colony, Sultanabad, they're together. तो उन्होंने कहा वहाँ पे एक क्लिनिक बनाया है एक एनजीओ ने और वो वहाँ पे हमें एक प्राइमरी केयर डॉक्टर चाहिए जो वहाँ बैठ सके सुबह से लेकर शाम तक बिकॉज नो वुमन डॉक्टर फील्स कंफर्टेबल गोइंग इनटू दैट कम्युनिटी. दिस इज आल्सो व्हेन वॉर एंड टेरर इन पाकिस्तान वाज वेरी रैम्पेंट इन 2011. सो सिचुएशन थोड़ी अलग थी. सो आई स्टार्टेड सिटिंग देयर और जो मेरे दिमाग में एक क्वेश्चन बना था ना कि व्हाई unfortunately we're not able to send doctors in the community and why patients come at the end stage, that was answered there. Because I realized that my sitting in that community of 100 to 200,000 people was the answer to that question. That if you put doctors in primary care, that's where diseases don't progress to a tertiary care level. That's where you cure diseases at the primary care level. So I loved, again, falling in love more with my profession there. I did that for 9 months. And then I had to leave that clinic as well because my husband conveniently told me one day when I had my first daughter that we were moving to Lahore because he got a job there. So मैं लाहौर चली गई. आप में से कितने लोग लाहौर में रहे हैं या लाहौर को एक्सपीरियंस किया है? Okay, so Lahore is back in the day. So it's changed also. Lahore has huge houses. People don't usually live in apartments there. So we landed in a huge house. Me and my 1-month-old daughter. I'm 25 years old. My husband used to leave for work, and there I experienced severe postpartum depression because I couldn't work. I couldn't leave my child with anyone. I realized that now I have become that doctor bride or that doctor bahu who can't practice at all. And it came to a point that I started hating my child, I started hating my husband, I didn't have anything to do. You guys are too young, but उस वक्त एक चैनल होता था जियो कहानी के नाम से जहाँ पे मेरा सुल्तान नाम का एक ड्रामा आता था डब होकर. देखा होगा आप में से किसी ने. I used to watch that on repeat on Jio Kahani for 6-7 hours a day. That was my situation at that time. And in that moment, when I'm going through this very down phase of my life, thinking that I will never work again, I got a call from the nurse who was working with me in that slum clinic. And she said that we have lost you because you've traveled, which I've shifted to a new city. और इस slum में हमारे पास कोई doctor नहीं है काम करने के लिए. And no woman doctor is feeling comfortable to work in a slum. And this is in Karachi, in the main city. In that boredom, I told her, yaar, when a patient comes to you, take me on call. So at least I can help her or him on call. 2 days later, she called me back and she said, "This is not working. They need to see you. Because they can't connect to who you are. They can't connect to a voice." तो अब तो आप माशाल्लाह हम सबके पास बहुत अच्छे अच्छे लैपटॉप्स हैं विद स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट कैमरास, बट 13 years ago ऐसा नहीं था. She didn't have a camera in her laptop. She had a laptop without a camera. तो उसने सुल्तानाबाद की दुकान से एक छोटा सा वेब कैम खरीदा, वो जो गोल वाले होते हैं ना जो ऊपर रखते थे सैटेलाइट की तरह, वो उसने अपने लैपटॉप पे लगाया and he started with video calls. And that is when I realized that me being at home in Lahore, thousands of miles away, there's a patient in Karachi, I can still cure them as much as I can do as a physical doctor using telemedicine. And that's when I realized that if we can create a telemedicine platform for all doctors in Pakistan, particularly for women doctors who are not able to work to their full potential due to a lot of responsibilities that they have, and we can connect them to patients across primary care in different communities in the country, we can actually solve the issue of primary care in the country. You need two things. You need good internet connectivity, and you need to will for between the doctor and the patient to connect each other. That's how simple it is. And that's when we started Sehat Kahani, which is, again, going backward, which is a digital health platform that connects a huge variety of doctors, particularly focusing on women doctors who want to come back to work, and connect them to the patient using a chat, audio, and video consultation platform. So this idea came to me sitting in a room in Lahore. I had no money to launch it. I had no entrepreneurial knowledge. आप तो बहुत lucky हैं that you get a lot of departments who are helping you to connect to academia and industry. 13 years ago, unfortunately, doctors were still trained for one thing, to see patients, which is changed now, which is very good. So I participated in a startup competition. I wrote an application of my idea. I went to Nepal. This is the first time I made a presentation. This is the first time I pitched. And the idea got the first prize, and I came back with $25,000, and I started the company. And going forward, today, Sehat Kahani works in 5 different ways today. So this is 2014 when the journey started. Initially, when we started the company, and I was one person, I was joined by my co-founder, who's also a medical doctor from Zalpi. Initially, our idea was that we will create clinics in low-income areas, and Pakistan में बहुत सारे clinics हैं जहाँ पर midwives and nurses काम कर रही हैं already. So our idea was that we will convert these clinics into telemedicine clinics, as I did in my pilot. That was the first thing that we did. So we went around the country, we took clinics which were run by nurses or midwives, and started converting them into telemedicine clinics. Today, we have 63 telemedicine clinics, the single largest and only telemedicine clinic across the country, across 4 provinces. So Sindh, Punjab, KB, Balochistan, Hazar, Jammu and Kashmir. In every clinic, if you go for Sehat Kahani, you see there's a 2-room space, there's a waiting room, and there's a consultation room. There's a midwife sitting there. She has a laptop and she has a whole array of gadgets. She has an e-stethoscope. You put it on the patient's chest, the doctor hears the voice of this chest sound on their microphone. They have a dermoscope, you put it on the patient's lesion. It magnifies and shows you the difference between psoriasis and eczema, for example. They have an otoscope, so you put it on the child's ear, which is very important for mid-ear infections, and it shows you the inside of the ear. We have an ultrasound machine, we have a printer there, so patient आता है, उसकी history examination nurse करती है, उसको एक online doctor से connect करती है. उस online doctor से जिसने वो कभी community देखी नहीं होती, वो कभी उसमें गई नहीं होती. But she's working from far off areas to provide healthcare in that community. We also have a small pharmacy in the clinic, so there are 50-60 medicines available that the patient can get. So it's a one-stop primary healthcare shop in that community. But when we started making these clinics, we realized, and I realized, that only working in low-income areas will not solve the issue of the country because the country is very big. If it is rural, it's also urban. So in 2018, Sehat Kahani also created a mobile app, and you can all download the app as we talk right now. It's called the Sehat Kahani app. You can download it. And if you go into the app, you can do the 5 things that I'm going to say. Number 1, you can connect to a doctor within 60 seconds through an instant consultation in a video call. You can order medicine, you can book your lab, you can do home health care for your parents, and you can access health education. Our app was launched in 2019, COVID came in 2020, and Sehat Kahani again was the only app that allowed inpatient, in-app video consultation with the doctor. So it was picked up very readily in COVID. It expanded pretty rapidly to the point that we now see almost 40 to 50,000 patients a month on the application itself. The application serves 2 kinds of customers today. Number 1, it serves consumers like you and me. तो आप download करें, आप use करें, आप पैसे दें, आप pay करें. But Sehat Kahani also serves the corporate market of the country. We partner with health insurance and corporate employees and families को हम primary care coverage देते हैं. जिसमें ना सिर्फ कंसल्टेशंस होती हैं बट कैशलेस फार्मेसी भी होती है. How many pharmacists in the room? Any? One only. Like the boy next to you does not want to say he's a pharmacist. He's like, "मैं पढ़ूंगा तब मैं." So the corporate app also allows you to do pharmacy and particularly cashless pharmacy. तो आप हमारी companies हमें pool रख के देती हैं and then we disperse medicine against that pool. I'm just going to walk you through because there are some pharmacists in the room. So it's very easy, simple. You do a consultation, there's a prescription generated, and then you can order medicine within the application. It's going to get delivered to you, or you can pick it up, and you don't even have to pay for it because your company is already paying for it. That's the beauty that we have created of something. So these are the 5 verticals that Sehat Kahani works on today, and this was created in a timeline between 2018 to 2000 today. Something that's very, very, very special to my heart that Sehat Kahani recently started is home healthcare. All of us have parents. I'm sure a lot of you have grandparents also, inshallah, alhamdulillah. But there will be a time that, unfortunately, they will need healthcare services more aptly than us. I've seen it with my father. So we've also created a solution in our app that allows a nurse and attendant to go to a patient's home and connect to our online doctor. And the beauty of that technology is, and that's why data comes in and it's so helpful, that if you go outside to do your USMLEs and someone in your family is sick, you can actually track their progress on the mobile phone daily of what the nurse is doing, what the attendant is doing, what the doctor is doing. And if there is a red flag, if the BP raises up or the urine output decreases, it will give you a red flag on your application. So that's what the technology does it. So again, 5 things that we do: we run clinics, we run app, we run home healthcare, we run pharmacy, and we do end-to-end OPD management for corporates as well. This is not working. So I'll tell you where we are today. So Sehat Kahani today is the largest platform in the country. We cover 85% of the corporate market. There are 9 health insurance companies in Pakistan. 9 out of 9 work with Sehat Kahani. We cover more than 900 corporates with a total base of 3.2 million employees using Sehat Kahani every day. We have 1.5 million users on our consumer application, जिन्होंने download करके Sehat Kahani use करी है. We have a network of 63 e-health clinics, as just said, in low-income areas. And we've done 3.6 million consultations till date. That means that 3.6 million times people have done a video consultation on a Sehat Kahani platform. And when I say who are the corporates that work with us, this is the snapshot of some of the names that work with us. So these are not just the corporates or the smaller industries in Pakistan, the pharmaceuticals, the multinationals, banks like HBL Mizan Bank use Sehat Kahani and use our doctors every day to get primary health care for themselves and their employees. And this is how the technology works. So it's a very simple platform where divided into 7 phases. You can connect to the application. There is a video consultation platform. There is a pharmacy solution where you can book your medicine from. There is a rider app for the riders to pick up your medicine and deliver. There is a CRM that controls the whole thing together. And there is an online learning management system for doctors as well. तो हम किसी डॉक्टर को भी ट्रेनिंग पे नहीं बुलाते, हम सेमिनार नहीं कराते. We've created an online learning management system. खुद आते हैं, courses खुद करते हैं, खुद पास करते हैं, and they become a part of Sehat Kahani. I'm a doctor by training. I have no professional qualification of being an entrepreneur. So the gentleman who was before me was telling you this. I'll tell you something. Everything that I've done in Sehat Kahani, I've learned it on ground. I've learned it from Google. I've learned it from courses. I've learned it from going to university like NCR and doing a 1-week course on financial management, which has led us to raise 3 rounds of funding. So Sehat Kahani has also raised money for its business. We have raised almost $5 million to date. जो pre-series A funding round आप देख रहे हैं, these are rounds that startups raise to get more funding to run the company. In 2021, we raised a pre-series A round of $1.2 million. This is the first time any female-led company has raised a pre-series A round of $1.2 million in the history of the country. In last December 2023, we did a Series A funding round. This is the first time any female-led company has ever raised a Series A funding round in the country. There's no woman ever, or woman-led company ever, who's done it in the entire country. And something that we have done positively for the country that I'm very proud of is Sehat Kahani's work has been mentioned in almost every big publication that you can see today. So it has been published in The Economist, it has been published in Telegraph, it has been published in Guardian. Last year in 2023, Sehat Kahani was featured, and this is I'm the first woman in Sehat Kahani is the only company that has been featured in British Vogue for its work. And there's a very nice picture of mine. I'll do that shameless branding later. But there's a very nice picture of mine by Woolworths as well. So it has created a positive name for the country wherever we do. And where are we going next? So Sehat Kahani is launching in 7 geographies now. We've already launched in Dubai. It's called Kurova. Kurova means what? Everyone understands ova? Ova means egg, right? So woman. And cure means cure. So we can't keep the company's name Sehat Kahani because no one is going to understand except me and my co-founder. So we have rebranded as Kurova in Dubai and we have already launched for 2 corporates there. And the idea is to go to at least 3 of the GCC countries in the next 5 years and make sure we're impacting at least 25 million people across the world in the next 5 years. This is the journey of Sehat Kahani. Before leaving, I just want you to consider 3 things as you walk out of this room today. I'm a mother of 2 girls. I had my first daughter before starting the company. I had my second daughter while raising my first funding round. If you have a purpose in life, if you really think that you want to solve a challenge, being a doctor is your biggest advantage. I'll tell you how. As an entrepreneur, आप क्या करें? You're problem solving, right? I saw a problem, then I created a solution, then I understood how to implement it, and I understood how to grow it. Which year are you? Third year, fourth year, final year, mix. So when you start your journey as a medical doctor, what do? You first study anatomy and physiology and biochemistry of things, right? Then you study medicine of it. Then you study treatment plans. Then you study diagnosis and then you implement it. What better training can you have as an entrepreneur if you're a doctor? This is the absolute best training you can get. So all the skills that you're taking in your medical career today, they're very applicable to any project management skill. So never let anyone tell you कि उनसे आपने MBA नहीं किया तो आप business नहीं कर सकते. I'm a true example of doing it, and I'm doing it much better than other people in my industry. The second thing is, again, there is no skill in the world that you cannot learn. So don't believe that just because you're a doctor, आपको financial management नहीं आती, आपको business modeling नहीं आती, आप market कैसे करेंगे, आप scale कैसे करेंगे. Google will give you everything. You are lucky. ChatGPT will also condense it down for you, ताकि आपको ज़्यादा मेहनत ना करनी पड़े. But being a doctor, you can do so much more. You can be a clinician, and I am a clinician today. I also work on a app. I'm the primary doctor for my family as well. But there are millions of people in the world. There are 3.5 billion people in the world who don't have access to primary healthcare or any sort of healthcare today. And being a medical doctor gives us an opportunity to impact all those people on a public healthcare level rather than just at a clinician level. So when you consider your career and when you have these opportunities, these amazing opportunities by ORIC and this department, please do try to think of ideas that you can solve. Your country needs it, your region needs it more than anywhere today if you've seen the news since yesterday. But the world needs you to think beyond just treating patients and actually solving real life problems that this country and our world is looking today. Thank you very much. Thank you.